Don't get caught off guard by these 5 hidden expenses of buying an apartment in New York City. Trust me, the last thing you want is to get your closing statement with thousands of dollars in unexpected costs. So let's break down these 5 often hidden costs of buying an apartment so that you are more prepared and informed to buy your dream home in New York City. I'm Dewey Moss. I'm your New York City real estate resource. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that you can stay up to date on all things New York City real estate. And let's dive right in. Buying an apartment in New York City can be an expensive venture, and you want to be prepared for all the possible expenses that you may incur when you're buying an apartment in New York City. A lot of buyers come to our market and they think that the costs are going to be similar to other markets that they may have invested in, but the New York City market is very different rules, different criteria, and certainly a different set of closing costs. So let's talk about the 5 potentially hidden costs that you can experience by buying in New York City. Number 1 on the list is the down payment. Down payments are always a surprise to new buyers coming into the market because the buildings in New York City are the ones that are responsible for setting the amount of down payment that you must put down. A lot of people will get their mortgage approvals and perhaps the bank will offer them something like a 3% down payment, even lower, or sometimes a program that's no percent down. That will not work in New York City. In general, a down payment on a co-op is going to be 20%, but it's not uncommon for you to find buildings that are 25%, 30%, even 40% in some buildings. If you're looking to buy a condo, most generally the down payment is 10% on the condos. Now that's significantly different than the 3 or 5% or the lower down payments that you can put down in other markets. So it's a significant cost that you must be prepared for. Many people are surprised to learn that at a minimum, you're going to need 20% down in New York City. Number 2 on the list is the mansion tax. Now, mansion tax kicks in at $1 million. So if you're buying something under $1 million, this will not apply to you. Even if you find something for $999,999, then you won't have to pay the mansion tax. So keep that in mind while you're shopping. But in New York City, $1 million is still considered the entry-level price into the market. So it's not going to be uncommon for people to spend $1 million or more on an apartment. The mansion tax is implemented for purchases starting at $1 million. So between $1 million and $2 million, it's 1% of the purchase price. From $2 million to just under $3 million, it's 1.5%. $3 million, $4 million, it's 2%, and so forth and so on. It's on a sliding scale. So if you're going to purchase an apartment above $1 million, you definitely need to factor in mansion tax to your closing cost budget. Number 3 is the mortgage recording fee. Now, this only applies under 2 circumstances. If you're carrying a mortgage, obviously, and if you're buying real property, meaning if you're buying a condo or if you're buying a house or townhome, that sort of thing that is considered real property. If you are buying a co-op is not real property. You're buying shares into the co-op, so you are not subject to this mortgage recording fee. So again, you might want to take that into consideration when you're looking at different properties. A cost savings of the mortgage recording fee will be had on a co-op. But if you're buying a condo or buying any other real property, the mortgage recording fee does apply. At the time I'm making this video, mortgages below $500,000 are subject to a 1.8% mortgage recording fee, and mortgages above $500,000 are subject to a 1.925% mortgage recording fee. So you definitely want to factor this into your budget if you're carrying a mortgage and buying real property. Number 4 on the list are building fees. Now, you may experience some building fees such as condo fees. Condos during closing may ask for up to 2 or 3 months worth of common charges to be put into their reserve fund to help contribute to overall cost and keep the reserve fund healthy. healthy. Buildings may have elevator reservation fees. They may have move in and move out fees that must be paid up front, in addition to the day of move in fees where they may charge a refundable deposit. So you have to understand from each individual building what their requirements are when you're moving in, what the additional charges are that the building may require at closing, and factor that into your closing costs. And finally, number 5 is not necessarily a cost, but it is a heavy consideration that you must look at when you're looking at purchasing in New York City, and that is your liquidity and the requirements of individual buildings. Particularly with co-ops, oftentimes they want to see up to 2, maybe even 3 years worth of liquidity at the time of closing in order for the board to even approve your purchase. So what does that actually mean? Well, co-ops in particular want to see 2, maybe 3 years worth of liquidity, meaning that stocks or cash, whatever may be liquid, needs to equal at least 2 to 3 years of mortgage and maintenance payments combined. So for example, if your mortgage and maintenance payments equal $1,000 a month times 24 for 2 years, that's going to be $24,000 sitting somewhere in liquid assets so that the board feels comfortable that you are financially secure and could cover your costs should anything happen within the next 2 years. Now, it's important to understand that what you do with those liquid assets after closing is entirely your business, and a co-op board doesn't have the right to check in on your finances after you've purchased. But initially, they certainly are going to review that. They do not change their criteria. So if a criteria is that you must have 2 or 3 years of liquidity, they're going to want to see that, or they will not approve your purchase. So while liquidity isn't necessarily a hidden cost, it is a hidden consideration to be able to buy in New York City. So there you have it, 5 potential hidden costs of buying in New York City. I hope this information was informative and helpful. Certainly our best bet is to always work with a great professional in New York City. Our market is complex, so you want to have someone on your side to represent you and walk you through all of this to help you through these very complex transactions. Certainly take a look at all the information below. I would be happy to help you find your dream home in New York City. And please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that we can stay up to date together. And I will see you next time.